Okay, we're going to go ahead and begin. All right, we'd like to welcome everyone to the Camp Minnehaha Summer Camp orientation. Thanks for making time out of your day to spend it with us and to kind of go over some of the things that your guys are going to find when you kids are doing the Camp Minnehaha this summer. My name is Geronimo Aguirre. I'm the Recreation Manager with the Parks and Recreation Department, and some of my responsibilities are overseeing some different divisions. And one of those divisions is the Lander Recreation Center, where we do a lot of our programs, classes, events, and our camps. But at the Lander Recreation Center itself, there is a recreation program supervisor. Her name is Noelle Koenig, and she directly oversees the Camp Minnehaha program. So she is going to be the one that's going to be pretty much taking care of this orientation for us. And I'm going to turn it over to her in just a few minutes to kind of go over all those fun things that you have, and of course, answer all the questions you may have, and go over all the things that you can expect for this summer. So just a couple things before she begins. Just want to make sure that we're respectful of everyone's time. So we're going to try to do our best to kind of run through this program as quickly as possible. So what we're going to ask everyone to do is to really save all of your questions for the end of the session. You can ask questions by either putting something in the Q&A section that's going to be found at the bottom of your screen. It's got the Q&A section there. And then also, if you want to raise your hand, you can certainly do that. It's a little bit more to the right of that banner. And it says just raise hand, has a hand logo there. So please go ahead and click on that. I'm going to do my best to try to keep up with everyone and trying to make sure we keep everything in line with those questions and answers and the raised hands. But what we're really going to ask everyone to do is please save everything kind of towards the end, because we want to make sure that we kind of get through this, and the people that need to go somewhere after this or have other things going on, we understand it's a busy time. We want to get everybody done and finished with that as soon as possible. If you have questions afterwards, or if you want to stick around and listen to some of the questions and answers being put out there, then we certainly want to invite you to stay and listen and do that. This orientation is being recorded. So the thing is, if you have to leave early, or if there's something that you can't stick around for, we totally understand. We're going to actually have this orientation on the City of New Braunfels Parks and Recreation Department webpage, really more specifically the Camp Minnehaha webpage, and Noelle will give you a little bit more information on where to find that, but it'll be up probably within the next day or two. It usually takes about 24 hours for us to get it up and posted, but there's another way that you can listen to that again and go through that if you wanted to hear any of that. So really, other than that, I'm going to go ahead and just turn this over to Noelle Koenig. She is our recreation program supervisor. She directly oversees Camp Minnehaha. She's been with us before in the past as a part-time staff member, and she is now a full-time staff member. She came to us last summer in the middle of Camp Minnehaha and did a great job finishing out the summer, but now she's had a full year to kind of get everything ready to go, and she's ready to have a blast with your kids this summer. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Noelle.
Thank you, Geronimo. Hi, guys. I'm so excited to be here again this summer with Camp Minnehaha. We have a lot of the same information if you are a returning camp guardian, but there are a couple of new things that we want to let y'all know about too. And for all of our new campers, we're so excited to have you this summer. It's going to be a great summer. So just to start off, we do have our new camp t-shirts this year. They are available on our website under newbraunfels.gov/register. There's a little camp store icon. You can click on those. Also, if your kiddos are splitting their summer between Camp Minnehaha and Fisher Park Nature Camp, there are Fisher Park Nature Camp t-shirts as well. Our stickers are going to come in soon as well too. So the kiddos will get to take those home their first couple weeks of camp. And it'll look a little bit like the screen right next to me. So we're going to go ahead and get everything started. And like Geronimo said, everything's being recorded. So for any reason you need to leave, or, life happens, we get that. We will be sending this with the email tomorrow with the manual and all that good stuff. I'll be adding in the camp store link as well, so that you have everything all in one nice little neat package. And then it will also be on the website for the campminnehaha.com. And so, yeah, we're just going to get right into everything. So, yes, my name is Noelle Koenig. I'm the recreation supervisor here at Lander Rec Center, and I love what I do. This is so awesome. I love that we get to offer a all-day camp experience for our residents and non-residents. And so it's a really great experience for us to have. It's kind of not very common anymore either. So it's definitely something that we do see the need in New Braunfels for us to have these activities and all-day care, and something more than just daycare. We always say that we're more than just daycare. We're a fun camp experience for our kiddos. And so with that being said, Geronimo is my direct supervisor. One of the things that you may have seen in your registration is that if you need any sort of accommodations, anything like that, please see Geronimo. You can see me as well. You can email us and ask us for that form if you're requesting any sort of accommodations for your kiddos. And honestly, if you just have any other questions about the park, facilities, all that kind of good stuff. Our camp coordinators this year are really, they're awesome. They're so amazing. They just hit the ground running as soon as they started. If you were here for spring break, you probably got to meet a couple of them. Shannon and Harrison are going to be our camp coordinators for the Landa Recreation Center. And then Kathy and Sarah are going to be our coordinators over at Sealy/Landa House. And we'll kind of go into more of the logistics of which weeks are Landa House, which weeks are Sealy here in just a little bit, but just want to let you all know who they are. They're busy getting everything ready right now, but you will see them bright and early in the morning that first day of camp. Whenever you drop your kiddos off, they will be there. All the phone numbers listed on here will also be in your emails every week. So anytime that you're ever asking for any sort of specific information, you can always refer back to your location emails, which are sent the week before your kiddo will be at camp. So if you're over at the Landa Rec Center, we do have camp phones so that those are designated lines just for our coordinators to answer. They can text as well. So if it's something that you just want us to know, hey, I'm on my way to pick up Susie, please get them ready for me. We got to go to a dentist appointment, things like that. That's a lot easier for us to go ahead and get them ready. And then that way, if they are in the park in an activity, swimming, crawfishing, any of those things, then it's easy for us to let the counselors know. And so those numbers are right there for you. A little info about Landa Rec versus Landa House/Sealy is that Landa Rec will primarily be for those kiddos between ages 5 and 8. And I do see you'll notice the overlap in the 8 to 12 for Landa House and Sealy. So it really just kind of depends. If we have a lot more younger kiddos one week, then we might have a couple more 8-year-olds over at Sealy Landa House versus if we do have more older kids one week, it obviously will fluctuate in the other direction. So those are just things to keep in mind that whenever we send you those location emails, you can always feel free to ask us. We have those assignments already. So if you do need any sort of clarification on exactly who is in which location, we can absolutely do that for you. So the next thing that everybody loves to see is where we're going to be. So if you are a new camp parent or a returning camp parent, we have this new icons for you to view everything in the camp or everything that we go to in the camp. So our rec center is down there in the bottom right-hand corner. It's that little yellow star. And then Sealy is the green star all the way on the other side of the screen. It is a bit of a trek. So we definitely always want to keep in mind if we have any sort of heat advisories, things like that, the Sealy kiddos don't get to go as far into the park because we always want to make sure that they're all good to go. And so that's another reason why we always push water all summer long, is because we want to make sure that all of our kiddos are hydrated. And so we do have activities over at the Fredericksburg fields. We have play on the playground. We go crawfishing. There are a couple different locations, but the little craw looks like a lobster. The little crawdad that we have down there, that's our primary location. That's right across the street from our administrative office. We do get to utilize the mini train. We swim 2 days a week, and I'll go into that a little bit more here in just a bit. We get to go to paddle boats if you're at Sealy. So if you're the 9 to 12-year-olds, then you do get to be a part of the paddle boat experience versus our Landa Rec kiddos. Those campers get to go do mini golf more often. And there is some crossover with that sometimes, but it really just depends on our ratios that week for our counselors versus campers. We also do go all the way up to the very top to go to Panther Canyon. Kind of depends on their age group, how far into the canyon we go. But we do have all those different opportunities for them to be a part of everything. And then we do get to utilize our volleyball courts as well, the sand volleyball courts right over there. All righty, so we're going to keep on rolling. So we do have our payment policy and our check-in and check-out policy. So our payment policy, as you probably saw whenever you registered, is that we do request that you give us notice 14 days in advance. That's why I'm sure y'all been seeing all the emails that we've been sending out as far as payments and all that kind of good stuff. And so the payment policy does say that we do need that payment 14 days in advance. And that really is to let us know. And it's a reminder for y'all and for ourselves that we want to make sure that we get those payments in. So that way, you know, if you would like care for your child that week, or if you need to do a refund as well. Those are just kind of reminders for everybody. And then 7 days in advance is the last day to get your full refund. And we can put that either as a credit on your account, or we can always add that back to the card or the e-check that was purchased with. Just let us know what you prefer, and we can absolutely do that for you. And then as far as refunds go, those, unfortunately, you are not able to do those online. Those have to be done in person or over the phone. Our online system does not allow for refunds, but we are more than happy to take care of that for you. Like I said, you just give us a call at the 221-4370 number. And that one's the easiest one because we are recreation instructors and our coordinators have access to our registration software with that number, so they can get that taken care of super quickly for you. And then this year, we actually have something really exciting that I'm sure y'all probably seen the email. If you haven't, you will see it probably tomorrow morning. Is that instead of doing our traditional paper PI forms, which are participant information forms, just those little two-sided forms that I'm sure y'all filled out in the past for whatever activity your kiddos are a part of, we actually are moving to a digital camp management software that we're very excited about. So that camp management software is called ePact, and it is the #1 digital camp management software in the country. It's amazing. We are so excited about it. It's also an emergency preparedness system as well. So if there were anything that we needed to happen where we needed to get information sent out very quickly, we can do it via text, voice message, or through email as well. So if there's things that we need to know, and then we can also keep in touch with parents that way as well. It also gives all of our counselors access to those forms. So if there's any sort of medical needs for your kiddo, if they have any EpiPens, inhalers, any sort of things like that, any allergies, we know about all those, any previous medical conditions. And then our counselors actually take that iPad with them. It's an app-based system, and it's also an app-based system for y'all. They get to take that iPad with them into the parks. They have access to that information immediately as soon as they need it. And so that one's something that we will be sending out email reminders for that as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. We also do have access to the customer support through ePact. So if you're having problems logging in, it's probably because the email is not correct, especially if you haven't been getting emails through RecTrack as well. And so if you just want to give us a call, give us an email, and we can fix that for you super quickly. It's not a problem. And so the final thing is our drop-off and our check-in procedure. So what we do for our drop-offs is just like we did last year if you're a returner. If you're not, it's super simple. It's a lot like your car pickup line and drop-off line at school. So here at the rec center, on our mural side is what we like to call it. We have the parents during 7:30 and 8:45. They can drop off their kiddo right there. We have a counselor stationed right there at the stairs. They check the kiddo in, and then you're good to go. Send them inside. They'll also let you know if there's any sort of special information that day, or if they're missing any sort of information. That's another reason why we really love the ePact software, is because we're able to send you digital updates. So if we are missing anything, it'll automatically send you a little notification for all those kinds of things. And then the same thing with our checkout procedure between 4:30 and 6 p.m. We have another counselor out there at the front, and you can form that line right on that mural side again. And what they'll do is they'll always check your ID. You always have to have your ID with you. Even if we've seen it 1,000 times, we always check IDs. So please be sure you have that with you at all times, because we are not allowed to release the child unless we have that ID in hand for us to see and to verify the pickups. If you have anybody who's not a primary pickup, if you let us know at the time of drop off their name, we will add them to the list. Another great thing about ePact is we just send you an update, you type in their name, and then we have them in the system as well as an optional pickup for that child. And then the same thing that we talked about with the check-in and check-out for Land Rec is also going to be the same for Land House and Sealy. The best part is that whenever we send these location email updates, we're also going to be sending you an email that talks about all of that as well. And it'll also give you an actual map, so you can see on the map exactly where to pick up and drop off your kiddos each day. And then finally, our late fee. We do close at 6 p.m. every day. So there is $1 for every minute that the child is still in our care after 6 p.m. And we are legally bound to, at 6:30, call the New Braunfels Police Department. So if you're running late or anything like that, and we have not heard from you, we do have to call the New Braunfels Police Department. So please, 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 if you're running late, just let us know. We try to be as flexible as we can. We understand things happen. Traffic is crazy in New Braunfels year round, but especially in the summer. So just let us know, and we'll be sure to kind of make that work out for you. All right. So then the next thing is preparing for camp. So this is a big question that we get, especially from our new camp parents, is kind of what to expect. I do have in the very next slide is a copy of the schedule for y'all to kind of glance through for a little bit and see. But it is a really exciting day. We do pack a lot of stuff all in one day. If your kids don't come home tired, then we probably didn't do our job very well that day. So we definitely want them to be excited and have a lot of fun. And we definitely do have a lot of fun activities for them to do as well. But so preparing for camp, some things to keep in mind that we want you to bring, definitely a sack lunch. Always, always, always bring a sack lunch. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a physical brown paper bag, but just like you would their regular lunches for school. We do not provide lunch. That is something we ask the parents to provide, just with allergies and everything else. And then if you wouldn't mind, just keep in mind the typical allergies. If we do have a kiddo in the group who does have allergies to anything, we will always accommodate for that, move them to a different location. They might sit with the counselors for their lunch period. If there are kids around them that might have things that they would be susceptible to. So we definitely make sure to keep all them safe on that one. The next thing after the sack lunch is always, always, always bring a water bottle. If you don't, we do always keep waters here. But if you have some sort of insulated water bottle, that's always perfect. They carry them with them everywhere. They're an extra appendage for them. We take them on the train. We take them to go to the playground. We take them to go to Panther Canyon. We never leave the facility without a water bottle. Honestly, even if they go to the front porch at the rec center, they have their water bottle with them. Because it is Texas, it is the summer. Hopefully it won't be as hot as last year, but we always want to make sure that they're hydrated. So that water bottle is very, very important. You are also more than welcome to bring sunscreen if you have a particular kind that you use for your camper. Another thing that, because we do carry them, but it never hurts to have extra sunscreen either, especially on those swim days. If you want to go ahead and bring them in their swimwear with their sunscreen on, and then we can just reapply as we go throughout the day as well. And all of our counselors always have it is the Banana Boat sports sunscreen that we all carry. And so if there is something else that you prefer, if you could write your kiddo's name on it and have that in their bag whenever you bring them to camp, we can make sure to apply that throughout the day for sure. Bug spray as well, same thing. We do have some, but it never hurts to have extra. And then on our swim days, again, swimsuit, if they want to come in that swimsuit, that is perfectly acceptable. It actually makes everything a lot easier. So then that's one less time they have to change. So it makes them get to spend more time in the water, which is always great. And then their towel as well for those swim days. And we'll go into a little bit more about which days each location will swim here in just a second. And then finally, we just want to make sure that they're dressed in things that they're comfortable in, and that they don't mind getting dirty. We do a lot of different crafts, activities, science projects. Week 4, we're actually doing an entire week on conservation. So we have our maintenance team is helping us replant our lovely flower bed out front. So we're going to get that started. We're going to be working on doing some hand mulching, building some bat caves and things like that. So they will get dirty, I promise you. So if you just keep that in mind, things that they are okay getting messy and getting dirty and things like that. And then finally, just happy and ready to have fun, because we do have a lot of fun here. I understand that for first-time campers, it is a very nerve-wracking experience coming into such a big facility with a lot of kids. It's a lot of noise, but they'll fit right in and they'll have so much fun. We can guarantee that. And then finally, on our every Thursday of the week, we have themed weeks. So this coming week is going to be our summer vibes, which is just a summer week. I plan on wearing my Hawaiian shirt. I'm very excited about it. So if y'all want to dress the kiddos up in something summer themed, that would be awesome. So every Thursday is a dress up day. Our counselors take it very seriously. There's a contest involved in everything. So don't have to worry about your camper being the only one dressed up, because they will not be, I promise you that. But it is a lot of fun and we really enjoy it. And then here's, like I said, is that sample schedule for you to view. So this is just a schedule for the travelers. So last year we did letters. So we're still keeping our letters, but we just added some fun names to them. We really loved the fact of all of our counselors being with another group and another counselor. So we called them cohorts last year. So this year we kind of just gave them cuter names. So this is our travelers group, and this would be what you would normally, what last year was considered E and F. And so this is over here at the Land Recreation Center. I'll give you all a second to just kind of peruse that. Every morning during that pickup time, like I talked about, the 7:30 to 8:45, we will have the free time in the gym and in the game room. Over at Sealy and Landa House, they usually stay on one side of the facility, just to kind of keep a head count, all that kind of good stuff. And then that way they can get everything ready on the other side. But in Sealy, they will be in the cafeteria in the mornings, and that's where that pickup and drop off line is over in the bus lane over there. And then whenever we go after that, it's going to be doing like announcements, letting them know what they're doing that day. This is a big thing for the kiddos. They get to pick an ABC, and an ABC is an adventure by choice. So at the very end of the day, you'll see it down there between the 2 o'clock and 3:30 time slots. They're going to get to do one of 3 activities. Usually we like to say it's like a cooking activity, like a crafting activity, or a special activity. One day we had a Mario Kart tournament, which was really fun. Another day we taught the kids how to make Jolly Rancher lollipops, which was really fun. So just something kind of exciting for them. And then they get to choose. And then the final one is usually always some sort of a gym game. So it's always a lot of fun. And then that's something that they really like to get to do, because those are things that we might not do with the entire group or the entire camp, but it's something that we can specialize for a smaller group of kids. And so that's something that's really important to them. And so if they ever tell you that they need to be at camp by 8:30 for their ABCs, that's exactly what they're talking about, is their adventure by choice. And that's very important. They love it. It's super exciting. And then you'll kind of see as we go through the day, this is a swim schedule. So they do head to the pool around 9:40. If you're ever running late, that's not a problem at all. It's not a hard set time between our drop off and our pickup times. It's really just letting us know, because that means that they've already started their rotation. And so then we'll just take the camper to their group and get them signed in with their counselor. But that's why we do recommend having them here between 7:30 and 8:45. It's just so then that way they don't miss out on any of the fun for that day. But if you ever need to pick them up early, or if you need to drop off later, you just give us a call on one of those camp phones, let us know through a text, and we can accommodate for that. Absolutely. But like I said, this is the swim schedule. So this is their 10 o'clock to 11:30 time slot to get to swim. It is a later day for them to have lunch. They're usually very much ready to have lunch by that point. And then one of the great things that we have utilized this year is Landa House, which is the building right next to the aquatics complex. So after week 1, our older kids are going to move to Sealy, and then we'll have the utilization of Landa House as a third location to kind of help spread the kiddos out a little bit more, and it allows us an extra lunch space. So we're going to be utilizing that as well. So that way they get to have lunch a little bit sooner after they swim. They don't have to make the big long trek back from the aquatics complex to the recreation center. And they will definitely be getting their steps in during the day, that is for sure. And so then we have a bunch of other craft ideas. We have some science activities for them to do. Like I said, just a bunch of stuff that we're really excited about. And they usually ranges between like a craft, a science project, and some sort of athletic thing, whether it be a gym game or maybe we go to the playground. We try to get them outside as much as we can, while also keeping in mind the weather, and it's Texas and very, very hot. And so our next thing is going to be our water activities. We are a water town. Water is very important to us here, and we do have a lot of water inside Landa Park. So with that, we always go over, anytime we're going to be near the water, we always go through our water safety rules. And so this is also included with anything that we would do at the aquatics complex as well. So the 4 main things that they do that does involve the water is they get to go swimming at the aquatics complex twice a week, each location. The older kids do get to go to the paddle boat area, like I said earlier, and they all have to wear life jackets, but they do get and be involved in the paddle boats. And it's really fun. And then we have our crawfishing. Yes, there are crawfish in Landa Park, and it is very, very fun. It is something that they will remember forever. I still remember my first crawfishing experience in Landa Park, and it was the best. So it is something that we have a lot of fun with the kids getting to do that. But again, we are near water. And so we just want to make sure that they're safe at all times. And then we will let you know beforehand, the week before at the very latest, when we will be doing any sort of water activity outside of swimming at the aquatics complex. That way you are prepared and ready to accommodate that and have them ready in either their swim clothes or something that they don't mind getting wet and then changing out of. Awesome. So our next thing is our camp rules. We like to say that they're fairly short and sweet. We just ask that everybody is respectful, that we are all good friends. I always tell our campers, you don't have to be best friends with everybody, but we treat everyone like a friend. So that just means that we treat everyone with respect. We're polite to everyone. We follow all these rules on this list right here. We're polite to other campers, our counselors, and the people we meet in the park, because we are not the only ones in the park. Even though we do take up a fair bit of the park during the summer, we're not the only ones there. And so we try to make sure to obviously like stay on our sides of the sidewalk, try to stay in our little clusters and not take up as so much room so that we can make sure that the other patrons get to enjoy the park as well. We always ask for good listening ears. I know that sounds kind of like a teachery thing to say, but because we are in the park, there is a lot of noise around us. We want to make sure that they're always listening to their counselors and following directions for their own safety and the safety of others. Being kind, again, following directions, being helpful. We always have the best helpful campers. Those campers become CITs, our counselors in training, and then they actually get to become counselors themselves whenever they get old enough. So it's really awesome to get to see that transition. And then always being responsible. So being aware that, your items that you bring to camp are your responsibility. And we do our best to try to help you corral all your things and keep everything together. But we do want to encourage that responsibility in our campers to keep track of all their items and to make sure everything stays together. And so our next thing is going to be our behavior modifications. So we do, with kids being together all summer, there's bound to have some tiffs, some arguments, things like that. And so we just do our best to try to remedy those as they happen. And then we always let our parents know if there's anything that does happen at camp. And so this is kind of the gradient scale that we follow. Our FYIs are just informational. Again, that's what they are. They're just for your information. It could be something really exciting. April was the best camper I've ever had. She was so awesome. She was so respectful, so helpful. She was helping people whenever they were going down the slide, all the things. And we love to send home those fun information for the parents as well. We never want it to be anything where you just feel like, oh, I got an FYI, it's automatically going to be negative. That's not the case. We do have quite a few counselors that they don't get to see y'all every day, but they want to let you know how your camper is doing. So this is another way for us to do that. And then with our minors, if we do have any sort of behavior modification, these are things that are whenever our campers aren't following the rules that were previously mentioned, and it does affect their safety. And so for those, we write those down. We have a conversation. The coordinators will come out to the vehicle, or if you are coming inside, the coordinators will talk to you if there is a minor form that we want to make sure you are aware of. And so we'll talk you through the situation, what happened, and then our conversation with the camper. If it is something that is more than just a conversation, then it does move up to a major. And I will say that we try our best to never have to do a major. A major is something where there is physical harm involved. Either the camper might be in danger of physically harming themselves or others. And so that is definitely something where I will step in. I have a space in my office that I like to call my little cool down corner, and it has all the squishmallows they could ever want. And it just kind of gives them some fidget tools to work through that. And then I have those conversations with them. All of our counselors did go through what we like to call SAMA training. And it is something that we do believe very wholeheartedly works. And it really just helps them express their emotions in a healthy way. And it's very important to us. And if there ever were any serious behavior concerns, like I said, we never want you to be in the dark on any of those things, because we want your help in resolving those as well, because who knows your kiddos better than you do, right? And so we want to make sure that you're aware of those. So anytime there's ever anything that does happen, any sort of behavior concerns, anything like that, we will always go to you first and let you know and ask for your help, ask for your guidance, anything that you can think of that would help us make this situation better for your camper. And then our next section is going to be the illnesses and injuries. So with our new EPAC system, things will be a little different about how we will handle our medication, but it still will be very much the same. And so with that, our EPAC system does have an option for you to input all of your child's medical needs, conditions, anything like that. And especially if they physically need medication throughout the camp day. And that is something that we are able to provide within reason. So we are able to keep all those. We keep all those in my office here at the rec center, and with Kathy and Sarah over at Celia Orlando House, it's in a secure box. If it needs to be refrigerated, we have a secure refrigeration system for that as well. And so we just want to make sure that everything is not out in their camper backpack, but it's actually with us here. And so what we do with that is it has to be turned into us. It has to be in the label, with the label on it, with the child's name, dosage, and the prescription name and the provider of the prescription. So with the physician's name as well. And so it can't just be in any sort of bottle. It has to have all that information on it. And we are required to give the dosage that is on the bottle. So if you say, oh, well, they can have, like it says that they're supposed to have one, but they actually get 2 of these tablets a day, we can only give them what's medically prescribed for their age or weight or what is actually on the bottle. We are not able to prescribe any more than that. So if there's ever anything like that, that does have to have a doctor's note in it for us to ever do anything like that, or it has to change the actual information on the bottle from the provider. So with that, we also have our medical distribution form. So that'll have all the information on it, distribution, the name of the medication, the child's name, and all that kind of good stuff. We do send medication home every day. We do not keep it here at the facility. So it will end up coming back with a camper. They can drop it off with us, or they can leave it with the counselor and they will immediately bring it back inside for us. And we will have it in that secure location. And on EPACT, it does have what we really love about EPACT is that it also does have a section where you can let us know how severe that allergy is. That's something that for me, I usually kind of ask those questions as well. So that way we know the severity of the situation. And that way we can better provide care for your camper if the time comes. And so like for any sort of inhalers or like any sort of rescue relief situations like inhalers, EpiPens, anything like that, whenever the campers leave the facility, their counselors check those out with us. It goes with them. Whenever they come back to the facility, it gets checked back in with our coordinators or myself. If I'm at that location that day, then it goes back in that lockbox and we keep it until it's needed. If there's ever any time like with inhalers, EpiPens, anything like that, where we need to administer that, we have a written log of it. And given the severity, we will also give you a phone call and let you know. And again, another thing that we love about EPACT is that it does give us that option to immediately send you a little notification that we did have to, Johnny took his inhaler. He did the 2 puffs that he was supposed to at 11:02 a.m. And then never needed it the rest of the day. So we can have all that information in there for you as well. If there's any sort of sickness, if we have a child throws up, they have diarrhea, or if they have 100-degree fever or above, they do have to go home. And so that's just because we're not doctors. We take care of the kids the best we can, but we are not doctors. So we cannot say for sure if they are contagious or not, but we want to make sure that they are safe and healthy, and also the other campers and counselors as well. So if any of those things do happen, they do have to go home. For 100-degree fever, they do have to be fever-free for 24 hours without fever-reducing medication. If they have any sort of instances where they have any diarrhea or they are throwing up, they just cannot come back to camp till the very next day, as long as, again, they are fever-free for 24 hours. If they do develop a fever, then they would have to stay out of camp for 24 hours after that period. If there's any sudden illnesses where, kiddo comes into camp doing great, right after lunch says that they have a horrible headache, they do not feel good, then they throw up, obviously we will contact you immediately and let you know anything like that. And then injuries as well. So for injuries, all of our staff are CPR first aid basic certified. And so they do know the proper procedures to follow given any sort of injury or illness. And so what we do for that is we always do like the check, call, and care. And so what we make sure is that if there is any need for us to call EMS, we will absolutely do that. We will also call you as well immediately. And that's why another reason why we love to have all of our camp phones and our coordinators around and available for whenever if those situations do arise. And we will give you a call, but our primary concern is to make sure that child is safe and cared for. So we will give you a call as soon as we can, absolutely, for any of those needs. If EMS does have to be called, again, you will be notified immediately if we have to call EMS as well, because we're probably on the phone with you. And so if there's anything that, anytime we ever need to do that, we always make sure to be very transparent about that and let you know. And then our final slide, almost done. And then we can get to your questions. So the final one is just, again, letting you know about some important information, because these are not things that we have done forever with camp. They are fairly new to us still. So the camp phones, I cannot stress how important those are. Save them in your phone, save both of them in your phone if you need them. And they're very important. Our coordinators are very quick to respond from the camp phones. And it does help us get through those calls a lot quicker, because that main line, the 221-4370, is our recreation center line. And so we don't want to ever be on the phone with somebody else and then y'all need us as well. So please try the camp phones first. And then if you do not get through the camp phones, then I would try the 4370 number second. And then again, just a reiteration of those 3 locations. So be watching for those location emails. They usually get sent in the evening time because that's usually whenever people are checking their emails a little bit more often. And so we always send those out, and we send reminder emails as well. If you feel like you are not getting those emails or you're not seeing them, always check your spam or your junk folder. If you still do not see them, give us a call at the 4370 number, and we will double check your email, make sure it is accurate and there isn't any sort of misspellings in there at all. Swimming, again, very important. They do it twice a week. The littles get to swim on Mondays and Thursdays, and the bigs get to swim on Wednesdays and Fridays. And that will all be, again, in that email with all that information. It lets you know just as a reminder. And then so that way you can make accommodations and kind of get their schedules ready for the week as well. Very important things, like I said, ABCs, the kiddos love their ABCs. Most of our all camp events, we do have our, like I said, our maintenance team coming in for our conservation week to help us out. And some environmentalists from the high school are coming in as well. They teach environmental sciences. And then we also have all of our specials as well. So our playground, the mini train, things like that. And then so keeping in mind with anything with swim days or non-swim days, we also strongly suggest that you bring your camper with a spare change of clothes in case there's like sudden rain or anything like that happens, or accidents. They're bound to happen. We do have clothes on hand, but I'm sure they would always feel more comfortable in their own set of clothes as well. And then for those swim days, we also administer a swim test that is American Red Cross swim test. And I will say it is fairly intensive, and they do have to pass that swim test in order to swim at the pools without a life jacket. And that is a non-negotiable, because that is something that is required through the American Red Cross. And then also finally, we have, again, our drop off and pick up procedure. If you're ever going to be here after 8:45 or before 4:30, if you can just give us a call, let us know. If you have doctor's appointments, anything like that, that would stray from our traditional schedules, that way we can make sure you accommodate, let our counselors know, and then also let the kiddo know if they're being picked up early or anything like that. All right, so now that y'all are done listening to me talk, do y'all have any questions?
Okay, so just a quick reminder, and thank you so much, Noelle. You did a great job with that. That's a lot of information, and we probably have a lot more, but we'll do our best to answer questions as we can tonight. And of course, before the program begins is a perfect time to ask those questions. The day of the first day is going to be hard. There's going to be a lot going on, but if you come up with anything, once again, Noelle has kind of already asked you guys, just please let us know ahead of time, or send an email or give a phone call. We'll do our best to get everybody's questions answered. So there are a couple of questions that were asked, and I'm just going to go ahead and go down the line here. Jillian had 2 questions. The first of which is there a certain day to wear the camp shirt during the week? And then, well, I guess answer that one. We'll go through the next one.
Yeah, so you are more than welcome to wear your camp shirt every day if you want. There's not a particular day. All of our staff do wear their camp shirts every day. They say staff on the back. We love it when our campers wear their camp t-shirts. We think that's awesome. Our graphic designer actually designed those t-shirts herself through a awesome little retro idea that we wanted for our camp, kind of off the national park logos. So that's definitely something, but it's not required for any day of the week or suggested, but it's really awesome to get to see. Absolutely.
All right. And the same individual, Jillian's just asking if there is a week without camp on a Monday. Let's say if there is a week without camp on a Monday, do the littles only swim once a week since their swim days are Monday and Thursday?
Yes, unfortunately. So we work very closely with the aquatic supervisor over at the aquatics complex, and they actually do their cleaning of the spring fed pools on Tuesdays. So unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to switch their day. So they would just not have an extra day. I will say on those shortened weeks, we do try to do our best to have kind of an extra special fun all camp event kind of to coincide with that, because they don't get that extra opportunity to swim. It may be a water activity, it may not, kind of depends. But with each of those themed weeks, we do try to add in an extra special all camp event for the weeks that they don't get to swim.
Okay, great. Question from Alejandra. Are life jackets provided at the facility, or do we need to send life jackets? Is sunscreen used, or do we need to send it? So maybe kind of recapping that one real quick.
Absolutely. Yes. So our aquatics complex does have their own life jackets. I'm sure your life jackets are just as awesome, especially if your camper is used to wearing a particular life jacket. We do have the ones that go like just traditional life jackets that go over the shoulders. If you prefer the ones that are kind of more around the chest and have the little arm floaties on them too, we have campers that have used those in the past. We just ask that if you bring anything that is yours, that you please label it with your camper's name in Sharpie. And always we try to double check to make sure that that hasn't rubbed off or anything. But you are more than welcome to bring your own life jacket if you want to. It's not uncommon. We actually have a lot of campers that do bring their own life jackets just because they're used to wearing it. So that's not a problem at all. And again, with the sunscreen, we do apply sunscreen before they get into the water. That's a whole big process for us. That's why, I don't know if y'all noticed it on our schedule that it takes us 20 minutes to get over there. And some of that 20 minutes, and again, leading into that 10 o'clock time slot, we hope it doesn't, but the first couple of weeks, it usually is a little bit longer. Is to get their sunscreen all ready to go. And we also do apply throughout the day as well. So if they're going to be leaving the facility, as long as it's not too hot, hopefully they'll get to leave the facility in the afternoon as well. And we always do reapply sunscreen anytime we're going to take them back outside. So we do have sunscreen. Again, you're more than welcome to provide it if you want to. We would just have your camper grab it and they would we would apply it, spray it on, and then they would just rub it in.
All right, great. This question is from Bianca. Hi, we're new and our camper is starting the second week of camp. He is 7. Where do I drop off and pick up from? Is it the actual recreation center?
Yes, so it would be the Lander Recreation Center. And what we would do is, again, you'll get that location email. It should be next Monday. I'm trying to get those to all auto send. So that way, even if it is a holiday, you are still getting them. Always, you can feel free to give us a call if you're concerned about location, especially like I said, if they're in that 8-year-old range, it might fluctuate depending on how many younger 8s and older 8s we do have. But yes, they will come to the Lander Recreation Center, not DOSREC, even though they're great. We love DOSREC, but they will come to the Lander Recreation Center, and the address for any facility that they will be at for their primary location will be in the email as well. So like the Lander Recreation Center is 164 Lander Park Drive. So that'll be written right after the location in that email.
Okay, Hannah has asked, 5-year-old swim days are Monday and Thursday. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Then Alicia, whichever, I'm sorry for the pronunciation. Make sure I get either one right. Is the Olympic pool or spring fed?
So it is the spring fed pool. With the Olympic pool. The aquatic supervisor does have the different aquatics teams that do the swim teams that do come in the mornings. So we do swim at the spring fed. And again, that's why I don't want to under stress it. Absolutely not. But if you've never been to the spring fed, it is fairly deep water. They stay to if you're looking out back at the aquatics complex facility, they stay to the right of what we like to call the Wet Willy, which is that giant slide. So over towards the Kiddie City Zero Entry area. And there's also a playground over there. That is also why we require a swim test if a child is going to be in the water, even if they say they're just going to stay in Kiddie City. If they did not pass their swim test, they have to wear a life jacket if they're going to be anywhere near the water. And our lifeguards are very serious about that, as well as our coordinators, our counselors, and myself.
Okay, so the next question is, so the first day is a swim day?
The Monday for the littles is a swim day. So Mondays for the recreation center is a swim day.
Okay. Let's see. Next question is, I may have missed this, but do we also send them with all snacks in addition to lunch?
Yeah, you are more than welcome to bring snacks. I will say that the kiddos will ask for a snack throughout the day, but we do provide a snack at 3:30 every day. So if you want to, you're more than welcome to bring an extra snack with them in their bag. Also in the mornings, if they want to bring if they want to bring breakfast with them, we have a space upstairs for them to eat breakfast, but we do provide snack for the kiddos. But there never hurts to have an extra snack with them in their lunch boxes at all. But we do provide the snack ourselves.
Okay, and there's the next question is, if my child is in swim lessons during camp, is your team still open to taking them to the lessons? I think I talked to someone in your office about that being an option.
Yes. So with that, we do take the kids over for the 10 o'clock swim spots. I haven't looked recently to see if there's any more spots left, but if they are at the 10 o'clock time slot, but if you'll email me and let me know, because we don't cross-check those. So if you are wanting us to take your camper to their swim lessons during the day, just send me an email with the name of your camper and obviously your name and everything. And we will, we can talk about that. Absolutely.
Okay, great. This question is from Sarah. If we are on the wait list, when will we know if we get in? And then how will we be notified?
That is a great question, Sarah. Usually by this point in time, we have had a lot of kiddos dropping from different sections of their weeks. And so one of the things that we've not seen this year is very many unenrollments. And so unfortunately, we have not been able to call anybody off the wait list for any of the weeks, but what we will do at the very least, it will be 7 days before. So that's another reason why we ask y'all to provide us with the full payment, or if you want a refund at the 14 days, because then it allows us the optimum amount of time to allow parents to kind of get their schedules situated and see if they are available for their child to be pulled off the wait list. So I would say at the most, it would be 14 days in advance, and at the very least, it would be 7 days in advance. And that's always through a phone call. As much as we love emails are great, but phone calls are just more direct, more efficient. And then that way, if you are wanting to enroll your child off of the wait list, then we can go ahead and take care of the payment, everything right then and there, and we don't have to prolong the process.
Okay, this is from Grace. Thank you for all the info. We are wondering if Crocs are acceptable footwear.
That is a great question. I wish Mr. Harrison could be here. He does love his Crocs. They're a staple in his regular wardrobe, but unfortunately not at camp. Even in sport mode, we have had issues with kiddos slipping and sliding because the traction control on the bottom of them is just not great. So we always recommend closed-toed shoes or something that has that ankle strap on it. So unfortunately, because Crocs aren't as secure as like if they were to wear like Chacos or Tevas or like water sandals, and especially tennis shoes are the primary, but Crocs unfortunately are not acceptable footwear for summer camp, even though they are stylish.
Very popular. And yes, even in sports mode, that's a great point. All right, Hannah has a question. I'm not sure if I paid the full amount yet or not. Can I log in somewhere to check if I owe a balance, or will I be notified by email if I still owe?
Absolutely. So both of those you can do. So you can log in at newbraunfels.gov/register, and up in the right-hand corner, it'll say sign in/register. If you've never signed in electronically, then that option might be a little bit harder for you. But again, you can always give us a call at the 221-4370, the Land Rec Center number, and we can take care of that payment over the phone. Like I said, you can also do it online. If you are having trouble ever logging into your account, please give us a call. It might be as easy as resetting your password. It might be that you got locked out of your account. We can always help you with that. And then for that one, we also send out the payment reminder emails for the 14/7, and then usually I try to send out a couple extra towards the end of the week for any of the lingering payments. We understand that y'all have a lot of stuff going on. It's a crazy summer, so we try to do our best to help remind anybody if they need payment reminders for sure.
Okay, this next one is from Taylor, and it probably referring to the first week. First day is Tuesday ? So that's what I'm assuming it's probably the week 1.
Yes. So for week 1, that is a 4-day week. So we are not here Memorial Day. So the city of New Braunfels does observe all federal holidays, as well as does Camp Minnehaha. So our 3 federal holidays that do fall within the summer are Memorial Day, which is in week 1, June 19th, which is in week 4, and July the 4th, which is in week 6. And so June the 19th and Memorial Day are both on a Monday. July 4th is actually on a Tuesday this year, so we'll go to camp on Monday. We won't be here on Tuesday. But yes, week 1, the very first day of camp is on a Tuesday. You are correct.
Great. All right. And we have just a couple more questions, and it looks like we're going to be at the end of that. Bianca is asking if our camper will be absent for a day, not necessarily sickness, but just staying home for summer activities. Do you need to be notified?
It never hurts to let us know. Even if, like, say they're going to stay home on a Tuesday, something like that. We always care about our campers. We want to make sure that they're good to go, that they're healthy, all that kind of good stuff. So if you want to let us know, you're more than welcome to. It's not required by any means. You might get a call from one of our coordinators just checking in to make sure everything's okay, that they didn't have like a tummy bug or anything like that. But it never hurts to let us know. We love to know. And that way we can also let our counselors know to not expect that camper that day.
All right, and the last question that we have here from Jillian is if we have a friend that is 7, first grade, but our daughter is 6, kindergarten, can we request to have them in the same group, or is it separated by grade level?
So it's not separated by a strict grade level. It is based on how many kiddos in a certain age range that we have. So if we don't have enough, let's say we have, 5 5-year-olds, which that rarely ever happens. But if say we have 5 5-year-olds, but we have 14 6-year-olds, so some of those younger 6-year-olds will be in the 5-year-old group. So it's not uncommon. You're more than welcome to shoot me an email with those campers' names. And it definitely helps to know which weeks that you're wanting them to be together. We try to do our best to accommodate. We can't make any promises, but we will do our best to try to accommodate, at least if they're not both, say, they're not both in A or they're not both in B, they might be together as a cohort of, like, the Wanderers might be together, and they just might be in different groups, but they would do all their activities together. So we can try to make that happen. Absolutely.
Okay, well, that's all the questions that we had. So Noelle, is there any last thing you'd like to say before we start to wrap this up and close out for the evening?
I don't think so. We're really excited. There are some big things going on this summer. Like I said, with the t-shirts, with our ePack software. If y'all need anything at all, please give us a call. Please email me, email our coordinators, and just let us know if there's any questions that you have or any clarification that you need. We always say communication. We said in our counselor training too, communication is key to us. It's the way that we make all this work, because we are here to everything that our counselors said every year is always their favorite parts about camp are the fact that it's so much fun, and we want to keep your campers safe and happy. So you communicating with us and us communicating with you is key to making us have an awesome summer.
All right. Well, Noelle, thanks again for all the information, and thanks to your staff. Everyone's looking forward to a great summer. Once again, the session was recorded. So if there's anything that you missed or you want to go back to, then please absolutely go back and listen to this again. Share it with some other families that may not have been able to attend this evening. But it'll all be posted here probably within the next 24 hours or so. So otherwise, we're going to end this session and orientation, and we want to wish everyone a great end of the school year, and we'll see you after this next holiday weekend, and have a great summer. Talk to you soon. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Bye, guys. Thank you.